Today on Locked On Red Wings, Detroit's 6-game point streak is snapped at the hands of Edmonton Oilers, or I guess rather at the hands of Connor McDavid.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. We are your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. All right, Scotty, the Detroit Red Wings today lost 4-1 in Edmonton, snapping their 6-game point streak, and I felt as if this was a game that was much closer than the score sheet kind of indicated, but there was one real difference maker in this hockey game, and I'm sure that we both know who it is. But before we can say that name, I have to tell you today's episode is, of course, brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. Scotty, Connor McDavid had 4 primary assists in this hockey game, 3 of which went to Zach Hyman, who scored a hat trick with the empty net goal, capping off the hat trick. But really, this was all about Connor McDavid in this hockey game. I felt this was a really, really tight game between the two teams, and having the best player in the league ended up making the difference.
I would say so. Yeah, I mean, this was, even the players talked about it in the postgame. Like, this was, I think Larkin literally used the words, we felt like this was the best game we played all trip. That it was not even like close in final score.
That's how it goes.
Right. And that's just how, A, just hockey works sometimes, but B, that's how games against Connor McDavid work sometimes. I mean, you can play a dang near flawless hockey game, and the Wings, I mean, especially in the first half of the game, the first 2 periods even, you could say, I mean, got opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And I do think there's some blame seems like too dramatic of a word, but like some criticism maybe to point to, we've talked a lot about the finishing ability. There were a couple of literal wide open nets that just did not result in goals. The Danielson one being the most notable, but there was a couple throughout this game. So there was certainly... This wasn't like, the Wings played the greatest hockey game of all time and only scored 1 goal. Like, there certainly is areas of improvement still that I'm sure we'll talk about more in depth. But I think ultimately this is the Wings not being able to finish, which hasn't been a problem the last couple of weeks, but has been a problem at times this year. And then the best player breathing oxygen right now, playing for the other team. And there's nothing really you can do about the second one.
Remember when Connor McDavid set a career high in assists last season against the Detroit Red Wings with 6?
I do remember the 6th assist game, yes.
He walks out of this one again with 4 primary assists and like 2 plays in particular that I think about when talking about McDavid swinging the result of this game. Was the early power play that the Edmonton Oilers had to give them a 1-0 lead. McDavid was down low on the power play. He had the puck. He could have shot. He waited until Hyman was able to break free from the pressure. Comfer and Edvinsson not doing enough to tie up Hyman's stick, and he was able to find him backdoor. And then, of course, the insane play that was the 3rd goal, where he grabs the puck out of the air, drops it, and then through the legs behind the back pass to who else? Hyman in the slot for a 3-1 goal. So early lead goal, and then, of course, to make it 3-1 to really stretch that and put the pressure on the Detroit Red Wings. I mean, Connor McDavid's the best player on the planet. I don't know how much more you can say about that. I agree with you, too, that, like, this was probably the best game they did. I guess I agree with Larkin then.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm quoting a player, so.
That this probably was the best game they played from start to finish throughout the road trip. They came out the gate red hot. Like, the first 5 minutes, they were dominating play, and the second line continued to stay hot with the possession, and the second line had several instances in this game where they just held possession in the offensive zone. But you're right. It was ultimately the other thing that cost them this hockey game was a lack of finishing. They didn't have any trouble getting to the net. Like, they were crashing the net hard. There were loose pucks to get to, but it just kind of always never got to the player that was there. It always went away from that player. Or a whistle was blown because the ref lost sight of it, even though Raymond was right there with an open net to shoot it, but it got called down. And I'm not going to belabor the point too much. Like, obviously, it would have been great if they had scored more goals in this hockey game, but they had been scoring at an unreal clip, too, and we talked about it. Like, these things tend to swing a little bit. It was the second half of a back-to-back. We said it in yesterday's episode, Scotty. Like, this looked like a scheduled loss. I was really impressed with the Detroit Red Wings and their effort in this hockey game because second half of a back-to-back against an Edmonton Oilers team that's gone to back-to-back Stanley Cups. And I know that Edmonton always starts out slow, and they're not at peak Edmonton yet, but they are heating up. The Red Wings carried 57% of the shot attempts at 5-on-5, as well as 53% of the expected goals. And that's like consistent throughout the game. That wasn't one period where they popped off and skewed the results. Like through 40 minutes, they were the better team, and they split one period pretty evenly. Like, they were the better team at 5-on-5, at carrying possession throughout the entire game, but one team had Connor McDavid.
Yeah, they were. There was in the first period, there was the one shift where they were completely in the offensive zone for like 2 minutes straight, 2.5 minutes straight, and just, again, couldn't find the back of the net. And if this game happened, 3 weeks ago, then we'd probably be singing a different tune about how, they still can't finish. Is this a huge problem? Here's a think piece on whether this is a big deal or not, and whether it's going to last or maintain throughout the season. But because of the timing, right? Because it's at the end of a road trip, toward the end of a road trip, and when it's at the end of a win streak, a point streak, however many games in a row now, or the handful of games they've had in their last 10 with, 3 or more goals. Like, they've just, the offense has been good enough. And again, they still got a lot of opportunities in this game. So I don't know. You never want to just be okay or content with a loss. This is just a situation where you kind of look around and you're like, this is not the end of the world. There's stuff to learn from. There's stuff that you can improve on. There always is. Even in wins, there's plenty of stuff you can improve on. But this loss is not like the end of the season or some catastrophic failure by the team. It just this kind of result happens to a lot of people that play against the Oilers. Like, this is just something that happens sometimes.
Right. I mean, like you said, you don't want to be content with a loss because you want the Red Wings to win every single game. But when you take the context of the fact that coming into this, they had 7 of the 8 potential points on the road trip going into the game 5 of the 6th game on the long road trip. I don't care about the quality of opponents that they played. Going out to Western Canada for a long road trip isn't always hard, especially when it's the second half of a back-to-back, and now you're playing the back-to-back defending Western Conference champions. They played hard. They battled hard, so it's a lot easier to swallow this kind of result because it didn't look like they just rolled over and took the loss. They wanted to win that hockey game, and it just didn't go their way, and that's fine. The only part that stings for me, Scotty, is because this was one of those days where pretty much everybody chasing you won. The Sabres are leading the Canucks 3-2. The Sharks did end up beating the Maple Leafs 3-2 in overtime. Last I had checked, they were winning that game. So the Sharks came back to win that game in overtime. So only 1 point for the Maple Leafs. The Devils lost to the Lightning 8-4. Not Stamkos, I'm sorry. He's not on that team anymore, but he did have 4 goals for the
I was just going to say, tonight. Well, you say that. Funny enough, Stammer did have a nice little hat trick.
Well, and that's where I was going with that. And then, because for a split second I forgot he was no longer on the Lightning. I still associate him as a Tampa Bay Lightning. But the Lightning did win 8-4 over the Devils. The Senators beat the Blue Jackets 6-3, and the Canadiens beat the Penguins 4-2. So, and the Bruins beat the Jets 6-3. So pretty much every single team in your division, save the Florida Panthers, who were about to lose 6-2 to the Avalanche, gained at least a point on this night. So that's the only part that kind of just stings. But again, it's like you're not going to win them all when these nights happen. So I'm not going to beat anything up too hard in this game. Of course, we'll talk about specific moments as well. Like the Ekholm goal, for example. Johansson, why are you standing on top of Cam Talbot? What are we doing
literally
here?
giving him a piggyback ride. Like, what is happening?
And then that also doesn't happen if Hamonic doesn't turn the puck over twice in the defensive zone in clearing attempts. Yeah. Like, that third pair has been a problem for the Red Wings. Thankfully, they have two other pairs that are very good, so they don't have to play them too often, but they still probably play them too much. We'll head to a quick break, Scotty. When we return, we'll talk about notable performers from this game, so stay tuned to segment 2 of Locked On Red Wings. NFL Sundays move fast, one big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift, a receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It just keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, so can you. Thank you for making Locked On Red Wings your first listen every day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Red Wings with no interruptions, members-only Discord access, and more, all for just $5 a month or $50 a year. Just go to lockedonpodcast.com/Everydayer Club or check the link in the show notes to learn more. Scotty, notable performers in this game. I feel like there's a lot of players I feel I want to point out in this game, but I think we should start with the Edvinsson conversation because that was a question mark coming into the game. Earlier in the day, we saw Mason Appleton get put on injured reserve, retroactive to November 29th, in order to make room for Eric Gustafsson, who was recalled on emergency conditions, which of course indicated to Red Wings fans, emergency conditions is like, okay, so Edvinsson may or may not be ready to go. Thankfully, Simon Edvinsson was able to play in this hockey game, and he scored the Red Wings' lone goal by jumping up in the play. It was a nice feed from Nate Danielson.
What a beauty that was, eh?
Oh yeah, it was a beautiful goal.
He's like falling down. It was like the equivalent of a fadeaway in the NBA. Like he's like falling down backwards. It just kind of like flicks his wrist. The puck, that's got to be one of the lowest velocity goals of the season, but we'll take it. What a beauty.
How much of a relief, too, was it to see the starting lineup and Edvinsson on there?
Well, honestly, I don't know if you saw it, but about an hour before puck drop, McClellan spoke to the media, and I think it was Helena St. James, but somebody asked, about Edvinsson's like health and status, and McClellan said, "Oh yeah, he's like in the locker room getting dressed, like he's getting ready to play." And I was just like, "Oh, that was really casual for something I was terrified about." But sure, man.
Don't worry. Besides the goal that he scored in this hockey game, he had a casual 62% expected goal share and 66% Corsi share because that pair with him and Seider are elite. And I mean, hell, dude. Let's see. How much time did they spend? This was when Simon Edvinsson's or Moritz Seider's analytical numbers were struggling. Do you remember a couple years ago, one thing we always did to defend him was like, how many minutes did he play against the team's best player? And I'm trying to think here. So let's see what Simon Edvinsson played today against Connor McDavid. He played 8 minutes and 19 seconds against Connor McDavid in this game. That's second most that was at 5-on-5, against any player he played against. The first most was Evan Bouchard, which makes sense, pairing up top pairs. And then Moritz Seider played 7-12 against Connor McDavid. So, of course, the top pair played the most time against the best player in the world, and they came out ahead in those minutes. So, good to have Simon Edvinsson in the lineup, to say the least.
Certainly helps. Especially in games like this where you're going to put, your top line and your top pair out there a lot because, for the matchup game.
Did you see Mort Seider save 2 empty net goals before Hyman? got there?
Yeah. The first one was crazy too. I mean,
Blocked the shot and then made the stop. And then he just put enough pressure on the second opportunity for him to hit the post. I love Moritz Seider, man. Lucky to have him.
He's really
say it
good
every
at
episode.
hockey. Yeah.
Pretty good at hockey. Scotty, what stood out to you in this one?
I thought ASP was solid again. Obviously didn't have, maybe the flashy results that he's had the last few games, but I think that, he still had a couple of moments in this game that were impressive. I mean, you mentioned, on a negative front, like that bottom pair has just been. It was rough outing for that bottom pair.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you do if you're the Detroit Red Wings. You got 4 bottom pair guys between Albert Johansson, Travis Hamonic, JBD, Eric Gustafsson, and Justin Holl. So is that 5 people I just named? They have 5 guys you can play on the bottom pair and not any of net count.
Well, if you count, GR too, then.
Well, I mean, I do because those are experienced NHL veterans that would be in the lineup if you hadn't signed, Hamonic and JBD to try and upgrade. And no combination of those 5 guys has been serviceable lately as a third pair. So it's been. I think I like Albert Johansson and JBD, I think, a little bit more, but they also get more offensive zone deployments than Albert Johansson and Hamonic do, which means that then, of course, your top 2 pairs have to take on that extra responsibility. So it's a little bit of damned if you do, damned if you don't with them. I did think that I already mentioned the second line. They played pretty well establishing offensive zone, but the kids line in this game, that being Casper, Danielson, and Soderblom. Right?
I mean, they should have scored. Like that puck was literally. I mean, it bounced off his stick.
With a 2-on-1 with Casper and Danielson.
Yeah, Danielson. I know I already talked about it earlier, but like literally, I mean, that was a wide open net that bounced off the blade. I think. Like, I mean, that hard to miss that one, unfortunately, but. To your point, I mean, if you want to talk about the positives and not just be negative, there was the play where Danielson, it was mid-shift. I think Cat came off, maybe. I think Cat had just come off, and Danielson went on the ice straight for the puck, back check, pokes it, and stops what would have been, I mean, a high-danger opportunity. Like Edmonton had the puck in their offensive zone and were slowly suffocating the net, right? Getting close, everybody kind of pinching. So, I mean, I thought that they were great. I completely agree with you. It's just, they could have got a result out of it in the box too, unfortunately.
Danielson, I mean, they did get a result on it in the box score. I mean, they were the ones who produced the one goal the Detroit Red Wings did score. You mentioned Danielson, that incredible backtrack coming right off the bench to hustle his butt into the defensive zone to prevent a scoring opportunity was great. Didn't convert on the 2-on-1, but it's still nice to see that 2-on-1. And then they did produce.
Great pass, though, from Casper. I mean,
great pass from Casper. Should have gotten an assist there, but Danielson couldn't handle it. But it's all right because moments later is when they did score. I think it was the same shift, just maybe a whistle or two later. They came down the ice. Elmer Soderblom with that long reach protected the puck and kind of just shoveled it to Danielson, who was streaking up the wing and was able to find Simon Edvinsson to make it, at the time, 2-1. So they did get rewarded with their nice play. And just to emphasize how good Danielson played, but also Simon Edvinsson and Marco Casper, as a unit, they played 7 minutes at 5-on-5 in this game because they were the fourth line. They get the most limited minutes, but they won their minutes 11 shot attempts to 2 at 5-on-5.
That'll do it.
So that's an 84% shot attempt share. Their expected goal share in this was 96.8%. Only giving up 0.02 expected goals against. Again, the fewest minutes of anyone and the softest competition that they're facing because they're the fourth line, but that's still important. Like, you still have to go out there and win your matchups. It doesn't matter who you're assigned to play against. You go out there and you win. They dominated. And Elmer Soderblom himself had a fantastic game. He led the Detroit Red Wings in expected goal share at 91.5%, 30% more than the second closest person, which was, of course, Moritz Seider. So Soderblom had a great game individually, but that line as a whole was fantastic.
For sure. And that's the, I know the trust the process saying is overused these days because of the 76ers, but like that's one of those instances. This whole game really is one of those instances where you just go, okay, like you kind of got to just trust process over results sometimes. And if your process doesn't consistently lead to results, then you have a problem. But they have been getting results lately, and in this game they just didn't. But they still had their process that worked, and they got opportunities. And I mean, that's just it. It is what it is sometimes. But they were Oh, I was gonna say they got everything but results, but again, to your point, they did get box score results too. They were looking pretty darn good in this one.
I'm still waiting for Nate Danielson to score by actually shooting a puck, because both of his goals have been redirects.
He
had that one beautiful one that got called back too.
Well, he had the one that wasn't. They said it was his, and then I think they switched it to. I don't know. It was like a shot from the point, like he tipped it or he didn't or something. I don't know.
Either way, that still would have been a redirect. I'm still waiting for this guy to shoot the puck in the net.
Right. No, I guess that's my point. Yeah.
Scotty, let's head to another break when we return. I want to talk about Jonathan Berggren because he played his first in 9, and then, of course, Cam Talbot got his first taste of action in a couple of games as well. So stay tuned to segment 3 of Locked On Red Wings. The holidays are amazing, but they can also get overwhelming fast. Travel, gifts, parties, year-end expenses. It's really easy to lose track of your money this time of year. And that's exactly why Monarch has become such a game changer. If you want to keep your finances under control this holiday season, you need to be using Monarch, rated Wall Street Journal's best budgeting app of 2025. Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, simple dashboard. The holiday spending category can become a lifesaver. You can see exactly what's left in your gift and travel budget in real time. Monarch makes money check-ins simple, just a minute or two each week, and you're completely up to speed. And it's great for couples. Shared dashboards, shared goals, and fewer "wait, how much did we spend?" conversations. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKDOWNNHL at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code LOCKDOWNNHL. All right, Scotty. You want to talk about Johnny Burgers or do you want to talk about Talbot first?
It doesn't matter. We can talk Talbot, I guess. Yeah, I mean, fine. It was, again, I mean, one of those situations where how much blame do you put on? Like, there's like maybe 3 people in the world that make the pass that McDavid made for the third goal to like find the open stick there. Like, he could have been better, certainly, and I think the Wings fans still have like angst about the long-term outlook of goaltender, and this game certainly didn't like absolve that. But 1 was an empty netter, and 2 were, I mean, plays that most people in the air that breathe air in the world, don't set up. So. I don't know. I viewed his performance similarly to the rest of the game, where it was just kind of it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I think Talbot deserved a better result than he got in this hockey game. I actually thought he played pretty solid. I don't pin a single one of the goals that happened in this game on him. In fact, the Hyman goal, which one? The first one, the power play goal.
Hyman goal, that's good, dude. Yeah,
wide open back door. That's not on him. That's on his defense to cover that guy. The Matthias Ekholm, Albert Johansson was literally sitting on top of him. He couldn't make the save, and he was screened by his own partner.
On top of him, like literally on top of him.
The second Hyman goal, again, like you said, that was a miraculous pass that McDavid made through the slot. And then, I mean, I guess you can blame him on the fourth goal. He wasn't even anywhere near the net. So, I mean, I guess there's that. No, I thought Talbot made a lot of big saves in this hockey game to keep the game close. I thought he was sharp in this hockey game. And so, like, you look at his save percentage, and even his goal saved above expected is probably negative in this hockey game. And it's just, I thought he played good. I thought he played good enough to give the Red Wings an opportunity to win this hockey game. Did he, like, make a game-saving save?
No, he didn't.
No,
he didn't
but,
win
like,
him the game. He didn't lose him the game. Like he was.
He gave him.
fine.
It was like a quality start from a pitcher. He gave him enough.
Yeah.
It was This was a 6-inning, 3-run game for Cam Talbot. He kept them in.
It kind of is. I mean, he gave up the empty netter's not him, right? So it's one goal a period. Like that kind of is really, what. I think that's a good comp.
Thank you. I watch baseball. None of us will be in 2027, but enjoy it while you can.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome. I'm sure you don't get to talk baseball that much, so I'm here for you.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
Yeah, I thought Cam Talbot was pretty good. Johnny Berger's, on the other hand, I thought he was fine, but I don't think he was nearly good enough to kind of warrant another opportunity in the lineup. I imagine James Van Riemsdyk, my assumption, speculation on my part, James Van Riemsdyk didn't play in this hockey game just due to maintenance because it's the second half of a back-to-back and he's 35, 36 years old.
Right. I would agree.
Because, I mean, that guy's hot. I know he didn't score in the last game they played, but it's not like he's invisible on this, on the ice. And Berggren did not do enough to make me believe that he needs another opportunity in the lineup when someone like JVR is going to give you just a little bit more. And again, that's not Johnny Berger slander. I love Johnny Berger's, but I'm just looking at the lineup and thinking what the best player is in each situation, and I think JVR just gives you a little bit of a better look in the lineup.
Yeah, which is like, good depth to have that you like kind of trust your 13th forward. But I mean,
every team needs a 13th forward. Every team's got them.
You're right.
Sometimes you're just that guy. Scotty. Oh, I guess I do have another note. If you're okay with one more thing. Top line was pretty invisible in this hockey game, I thought. I didn't think, and I know a lot of it was matchup.
Tough matchup
right.
That's I'm not sure. I don't disagree. I'm just like, whatever. I'm not going to take that going forward as like, something that's going to happen again.
I'm taking it into account. I do think Emmett Finney showed a lot of heart in this game. Dude hustles, man. He hustles so much, and he had a little breakaway.
He did, man. I wish he got it, a little bit more on net. But yeah, he had a couple of moments in the game.
Yeah. He had a couple of opportunities. Twice, I think, he was in all alone on Stuart Skinner. One, he tried to make the move on, lost the puck. And the other one, which was the first one, he just shot it, tried to go 5-hole, and Skinner made the save. Finney's one of those guys. We talked about it a little bit the other day with the social media post that was making the rounds and people got all in a huff wanting to defend him. Finney's one of those guys who, when you watch the game, you see his impact and the way he plays. But the finishing for him, I'm going to resist the urge. The finishing for him is just not there for him right now. But he's putting himself in the right opportunity every single game.
I agree.
Scotty, Red Wings play Chicago Blackhawks on Saturday. I believe that is an 8:00 start.
At Chicago, Patrick Kane.
Chicago. Patrick Kane's return again for the third time.
Again. Well, yeah, but did they say Chelios was going to be there again?
I don't know.
I think the broadcast might have said that today. That I could be totally wrong, but I think that there was some sort of speculation that might happen. So
the Blackhawks are better this season, but they're still not great. They're slumping a little bit now. They did win against the Rangers their last time out, but outside that, I mean, they've won 3 games, and it looks like their last 10, maybe 10 plus. They're not looking good right now, but they're still a young, fun, and experienced team that you can't take lightly, as the Red Wings have learned the hard way already once this season.
Well, Bedard already has 45 points. He already has 2020. I know he already eclipsed, because I know they made a big deal about the fact that he had his 20th goal earlier this week. So
yeah, he's having a breakout year.
Yeah, he's already got a 2020 season. He had a hat trick earlier in the year. The wildest thing for Chicago, from my perspective, you kind of expected Bedard to find his groove and for the offense maybe to uptick a little bit. They have received some of the best goaltending in the entire NHL just completely out of nowhere. And I think that is, a lot of the, like, their power play is good. You assume that because of, Bedard and co. Their penalty kill has been incredible because their save percentage has been incredible. It's like that to me, that's the biggest, maybe like the biggest storylines. Obviously, you're facing Bedard, but or like Patrick Kane homecoming or whatever. But I think the biggest on ice thing to keep an eye out for is probably that.
Yeah, I mean, Connor Bedard's got 42 points, like you already noted. Outside of that, Tyler Bertuzzi's a point per game. Good for Tyler Bertuzzi. But the drop-off really gets steep after that. No one else is really super close to a point per game. So if you can shut down Bedard, you're going to have a good chance of winning this game. But the problem is Connor Bedard's having a breakout year, and he's finally turning into that player that a lot of people said he was. And like you said, Spencer Knight's been unreal. They rank in the bottom 5, maybe even, was it second to last? Let's see. Their shot attempt share at 5-on-5 here, Scotty. They rank 29th in the league in shot attempt share, and they rank 31st in the league in expected goal share. But they're 9th in shooting percentage. So that to me indicates, well, one, Connor Bedard's unreal, but two, that they've been a little lucky across the season, scoring at a higher clip than their offense should be, probably. And that's why, you're seeing a little bit of a regression on their stat sheet. On top of that, on Saturday is going to be the second half of a back-to-back for them because they play St. Louis tonight on Friday. So you're going to get them on the second half of a back-to-back on home ice, so they'll be able to control matchups a little bit.
3 and 4 too. I think they just played Wednesday.
New York, that would have been the Rangers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's they might have tired legs, and the Red Wings obviously are going to stay the night in Edvinsson here, and then go to Chicago on Friday. So they get the day between to get their legs back. You have a really good opportunity to end this road trip on a really high note.
Yeah, the one thing is, like, Hawks Wings is, I know, like, most of the players don't, and like some guys have obviously even played for both teams, but like that place is going to be rocking. Kane return, right? Like, there are some games that are antidote, I'll say, to tired legs, and I feel like that might be one of them in this case, just given all the theatrics surrounding it. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, if you get 2 points out of this game, I mean, you're talking about one of the most successful road trips of the year, and I mean, dang near a very, like, a perfect road trip would have been like within reach, like that. You wouldn't have been too far off from that. So,
I mean, 4-1-1 sounds pretty dang good
right.
for a 6-game road swing.
That's
right.
my point. Like, the fact that that's even within reach is
incredible,
pretty remarkable. So you got a chance to really end on a high note before you come home.
Right, Scotty. Any final thoughts?
We ball, baby.
We do ball. We'll be back with a new episode tomorrow. I'm not tomorrow. It'll be Monday recapping this one. That's just, muscle memory right there to say it like that. So stay tuned for Monday's episode, recapping the game against the Blackhawks. Same time, same place. It's your team every day.